A man that flew too close to the sun. No one is above the law, not even the richest and most powerful. You must be cautious. One of the most impactful crimes, especially on the Vietnamese GDP. With all this chaos happening, should US companies still invest into Vietnam? Buckle up because these ripples are far-reaching. So Vietnam is cracking down on fraud and the government wants you to know it. One day you're a billionaire tycoon rubbing elbows with the elite and having your name plastered all over the media as the poster child for Vietnam's economic development. And the next day you're behind bars, stripped of all your wealth and sentenced to a life in prison to reflect in a hot or cold cell depending where you are in the country. Sounds like the plot from a gripping crime thriller, right? This isn't fiction. It's a real-life story of Trinh Van Quyet, the once mighty chairman of FLC Group and now facing 21 years in prison. And guess what? It's part of a much bigger picture, a relentless anti-fraud campaign sweeping across Vietnam like a tsunami, taking down all the biggest names in business. So by the end of this video, you have all the details about the fall of Trinh Van Quyet, but it's not just a cautionary tale. It's a sign of things to come when doing business in Vietnam. So let's get started. Hello, my name is Ken Duong, international business and immigration attorney with over 15 years of experience helping with foreign direct investment into Vietnam, especially in real estate. And we try our best to bring you the most updated information about what's happening in Vietnam that impacts the global market. Let's kick things off with someone who is hailed as one of the most successful business people in Vietnam, and that's Mr. Trinh Van Quyet. Founded in 2001, FLC Group quickly became a household name. Mr. Quyet was celebrated for his legal mind and his business acumen. By 2016, he had amassed a fortune of 1.02 billion US dollars, making him the second billionaire in Vietnam. FLC Group thrived under his leadership, expanding into real estate, aviation with Bamboo Airways, and other hospitality and tourism businesses. Quyet was unstoppable, so it seemed. So just like any gripping tale, what goes up must come down. Fast forward to January 2022, Quyet decided to sell 74.8 million shares of FLC stock worth $65 million, but he did not report to the regulators as required by law. This was a bold and brazen move that piqued the attention of the regulators. The charges, stock manipulation. The consequences, a fall from grace that led to his arrest and a 21-year prison sentence. What's fascinating and equally terrifying, this is not just his story. This is the story of a corporate empire with shaky foundations, but brought down a man that flew too close to the sun. 80% of you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel right now, which shows YouTube that you're not interested in our content. But I know that you are because we have many videos over 300,000 views and one of them over 800,000. Thus, we would love for you to join the 20% that are subscribed to our channel to show YouTube that Duong Global is an interesting, valuable, and provides updated content. Thank you in advance for subscribing to our YouTube channel. So you may be thinking, Mr. Quyet messed up, but what is the impact to Vietnam? Well, buckle up because these ripples are far-reaching. Trinh Van Quyet's story is not just a cautionary tale, but it's a wake-up call to the large corporations in Vietnam. Companies like Novaland are under the microscope as the government is intensifying their crackdown on the financial misconduct. The Vietnamese government's message is loud and clear. No one is above the law, not even the richest and most powerful. This anti-fraud campaign called the Blazing Furnace started with the previous president in 2016. It is essential to cleanse out Vietnam's financial landscape. Also, it is to improve the international perception of doing business in Vietnam and continue to attract foreign direct investment. Does this mean that financial fraud is eradicated in Vietnam? Of course not. Identifying financial fraud and misdeeds takes time and needs to change in their mentalities. But it shows that the government is making a priority to identify these issues, holding top executives accountable for their actions. Thus, the era of unchecked financial misconduct is coming to an end. Speaking of unchecked financial misconduct, let's not forget the queen of deceit, Miss Truong My Lan. If Trinh Van Quyet's actions shook the world, then Miss Lang was the earthquake that followed. Quyet's action may have been bold, but Miss Lang was on another level. She used intricate international and local transfers in order to commit one of the most impactful crimes, especially on the Vietnamese GDP. We made many videos about the situation, so you can click on the right-hand corner to get up to date on the Truong My Lan situation. So with all this chaos happening, should US companies still invest into Vietnam? Short answer is yes, but with caution. Vietnam is still one of the fastest growing GDP countries in the world, and maybe stamping out some of this financial misconduct is actually a good sign that shows the government is taking priority in order to level the playing field and to prevent future fraud and misconduct, which would help create a transparent and stable business environment. So imagine setting up a factory in Vietnam, low labor costs, strategic location, and due to some of these anti-fraud measures, having more transparency and a better legal and financial system as well. For companies that value integrity and transparency, then Vietnam will become a gold mine. But of course, navigating this complex landscape of business is not easy. But rest assured that our team of legal, business, and tax experts are here to help guide you along the way to setting up your factory here in Vietnam. So don't hesitate to contact us. And a fun fact to ponder, Vietnam is still attracting a lot of foreign direct investment. But why? Vietnam still has a lot more benefits that outweigh the risks of doing business, especially when you have the right partner by your side. So let's tie it all together. What do the cases of Trinh Van Quyet and Truong My Lan show about the future of Vietnam? This is the beginning of an era whereby financial integrity is not just an option, but a necessity. The anti-fraud campaign is not just about punishing the guilty, but it's also about rebranding Vietnam as a great place to do business and to show the world, to instill confidence that Vietnam is ready to do business the right way. This is a great time for foreign direct investments and foreigners to come in. However, you must be cautious. It is definitely not for the weak-hearted or the ill-prepared and ill-researched companies. It is for the ones that are looking for transparency, playing by the rules, and competing on a very healthy level in Vietnam. This is the time for those foreign investors. As we wrap up the deep dive into the Trinh Van Quyet and Truong My Lan story, this begins a new era for Vietnam, an era of transparency, more regulation, and improved investment environment for all the foreign directors to come. But these stories are far from over. They have far-reaching effects that we may not even know right now. But what are some of these consequences? Will the people get repaid their money? And will there be appeals and these people will continue to go to jail for the whole 21 years or life sentence or death penalty? Make sure that you continue to follow us in order to get the most updated information about these cases, but also how to make foreign direct investment into Vietnam and be successful here. Well, thank you very much for watching this video about Trinh Van Quyet. But as always, make sure that you like our Facebook page and all our social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Comment below if you have been impacted by this situation. And of course, click on the bell for notifications. So on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.
Ha ha!